unfortunately, it was our mistake. That's the real sad thing about that.
We go to sorry, no, for cutting across. We go to the second. So you saw that squad was announced is an hour before the match or whatever, and you saw that squad. What did you think of it? You think it's a fairly good and a good balanced squad before the game started?
I thought it was, Paul. To be fair, Bazunu coming back in, I felt, Keller didn't do enough in the game against Latvia to even discharge Bazunu. I had fears about the Bazunu last week before, as I was talking to you, but I thought Bazunu played well. He made a couple of good saves for the goal. I think he saw it late because Darragh O'Shea was sort of turned his back to it, and it was a brilliant strike from Favard. So I couldn't fault him really too much for the goal. Maybe if you got a stronger hand to it, he might have kept it out. But it was the pace and the quickness of and when Pavard hit the shot. But I thought the team played well. I thought the squad was utilised very well.
So what was your opinion on the first half? It was 0-0 at half time. Number one, did you think there was first of all, the atmosphere? There seemed to be a good atmosphere just at the kick-off time, and all during the first half. Ireland seemed to start fairly strong, and they didn't seem to be too nervous in the first half. Or what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, Paul, I thought we did very well in the first half. Obviously, it was really concerning how all friends said, but that was to be expected. But there wasn't really many chances. In fact, there was no shot on target from either team in the first half. I mean, like you wouldn't expect too much from Ireland considering the players we have and the level they're playing at. But we kept France very, very quiet in terms of clear-cut chances in the first half. There was hardly any. There was a few scares or a few crosses, and I think there was a chance in the first half where I think one of the players, Kumiani, got in around the back, and Bazunu had to come out and show trap him to the across the goals. But I thought we did very, very well in the first half. From limited possession we had, I thought we used this quite.
And what's your opinion of the crowd and the atmosphere? They seem to be fairly livelier.
Brilliant. It came across. I would love to have been there. It came across brilliant on the TV. The crowd really got behind them last night. They gave them everything that they could, and I think the players responded to that as well, Paul, as well as they could as well. And to be fair, I thought Josie Albene, I thought that's one thing that Kenny got right, spot on last night. He backed up with Seamus Coleman for defending against Mbappe. When any chance he got, there weren't many, to be fair, because Ireland didn't have much of the ball, but whenever they did, they tried to find him down that wing, and Hernandez fouled him a couple of times. I thought Hernandez was very lucky to get a yellow card last night, to be fair. He made 3 or 4 fouls on him, and normally when that happens, you at least expect one yellow card in it. But sorry for cutting across again. At half time, then, so how were you feeling at half time? Were you hopeful and maybe looking forward to the second half before we just talk about the goal? I was hopeful, Paul, that we could nick a draw if we could. And the French, they didn't create many clear-cut chances, as I said, in the first half. I was expecting a little bit more from them, to be quite honest with you. And I thought there was a few scares. We were all very nervous coming into it, and even during the first we were nervous. But I thought we grew into the game. There wasn't much in it, really.
Yeah.
They had more of the ball, but that's to be expected.
Now, so now we go about the goal now, and I'm not going to, as a man says, hang a fella for making a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake. The best players in the world make mistakes. But I think what the real crucial thing is, in my opinion, the difference between the top teams, and France are one of the top teams in the world, and a lower ranked team is when the mistake comes, they punish you. If that was against a lower ranked team, you might get away with it, So, and in fairness, everyone makes mistakes. So I'm not going to nail your man to make the mistake the Irish player would say, but that's the difference. So in your opinion, is that a real key point between the top teams and the lower ranked teams? Even if they're not playing well, like France weren't in full form, but once you make a mistake, they pounce straight away and they really bury that chance.
They did. It was probably the only major mistake in the whole game we made, Paul. It was coming out of the fence. It was a bad cross in from, I think it was a Griezmann, went across the goals, and Cullen just did it in. He was under a little bit of pressure from Clevinga. He just played the ball. I think it was Jason Enright, and there wasn't enough pace in the pass. It was a short pass, intercepted, and then before we knew it was in the back of the net. And it's just so frustrating that it wasn't even great French play. They didn't open us up.
Yeah,
it was just a silly error, and I suppose that's where you're at, and I suppose you deserve to be punished when you make a mistake like that at the top level.
Yeah, and now the next thing you know is, how did Ireland respond to that? Because we were underdogs, massive underdogs, and sometimes when you can see the goal like that, you can let the air out of the balloon, as the kind of phrase. So In your opinion, how did Ireland respond to that losing that goal?
I thought we responded very well. We didn't go chasing the equaliser like straight away, because there's always a danger, Paul. If you go chasing it too early, you can leave gaps at the back and it'll be 2-0 before you know it. So I thought we did fairly well at that. It was only into 50 minutes into the game. There was still plenty of time. There was no need to panic. I felt the next 10 minutes were crucial. Just stay in the game as much as you can. Obviously put the French on a little bit of pressure, but don't give away anything silly again. I know we gave away a few free kicks. Thankfully, nothing really too bad happened out of that. I think the French had a couple of chances. I think Rabiot had a shot, a good save from Ozuna. There was a chance before that as well. But after that, Paul, I felt I'd say from the 75th minute on, we managed to get over that shock of the conceding that sloppy goal. I know it was a great strike from Bavard, but we stayed in the game. That's all I wanted for the next 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just don't give away a second one. Because I was fearing the worst when that goal went in. I thought, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah. Now, of course, we do know later. Yeah, sorry, no. We do know later on in the game. Was it in the 90th minute or was it near the 90th or injury time? Ireland actually created a good chance. It was a good header, I thought, in fairness. But I suppose we have to take our head off. We mightn't like it, but we have to congratulate. It was a fine save by the French keeper.
French keeper. This is his 7th cap last night when Mike I can't pronounce. I'm not going to Mangale. I think how you pronounce the name.
We call him the French keeper anyway.
French keeper, yeah. He's on his 7th cap. He's replaced Hugo Lloris, who retired earlier on this year after the World Cup. It was a stunning save. He made a save actually just before that with his own player from a corner from Cullen, and he saved that as well just literally before that as well. I thought we threw everything at him in the last 10, 15 minutes. I think I watched online the French runners saying at the end of the game they were hanging on because the Surrey team wanted to score in the last 10, 15 minutes. It was us.
And what do you think of Stephen Kinney? He made a few substitutions there in the second half. Just generally, do you think that they had to maybe push on later with a contributory factor?
Yeah, Adam Eder came on the first sub. I think he came on for Ferguson in the 63rd minute. I thought maybe that he made about 3 or 4. I think he made about three or four subs in just before. I think it was before 10 minutes before. Yeah, around the 18th minute. I thought if there was a little bit 5 minutes earlier when them subs came on, we could have made a difference. But he brought in McLean, Mikey Johnson with a good debut against Latvia. I know it's Latvia, but he's a decent option. And he brought on Michael Mafemi as well. He did everything he could, I felt, to get that equaliser. With the tools he has at his disposal.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he did everything.
So
mistake.
Yeah. So, in your opinion,
cost us.
Yeah. So what was it? I know it's with the trying to be neutral and impartial as much as we can. Was it 1-0 defeat a fair result on the night, or in your opinion, could have Ireland pulled a draw out of it?
I think based on. I don't think a draw wouldn't have flattered us at all. I think I think if that chance had gone in, I think on the balance of play, I think France had 3 shots on target. We had 2. I think their keeper made 2 saves. Our keeper made 2 saves. They had more of the ball. That obviously they had more of the ball, but they didn't do much with it in the first half. And I know that they had a bit more of the ball in the second half as well. I think it was 60-40% in possession in favour of the French, but that's to be expected. I think if we had gotten a draw out, we would have deserved it. But at the end of the day, probably we didn't. So we're just going to have to move on.
Yeah, now I generally the reaction on I suppose you can't really judge online but generally the reaction seems to be quite good. But is there a danger that we could go back to what was years ago of getting the model victories? That somehow this is kind of considered a model victory, but ultimately we lost the game. And in my opinion, and I think Stephen Kinney has done well, and you can see the crowd are with you. The players are obviously playing for the manager. You can see that. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely, yeah.
They kept playing to the final whistle. They created a very good chance. But is there a danger that we could maybe lapse into this thing or a model victory?
The key to now, Paul, and a few people have mentioned it as well, is that game against Greece. Is a good performance, yes. Obviously, we have to take that loss. But now that Greece game in the next qualifier in June, we have to put in as good. I know, obviously, we're all up for the French game. We can all get up for the French game at home. Big, massive crowd and everyone's buzzing. But the game now, that we need to back it up. In the past with Kenny, we've had good performances and good results, but then not been able to back it up. there's obviously a couple of months now till that June game, the qualifier against Greece, and then the home against Gibraltar. So we need to focus the minds now on getting a win in Greece. I know it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be like something like 40 degrees heat out there, middle of June. It's probably the worst time to be playing Greece. But if we get that victory against Greece and obviously against Gibraltar, I saw last night, Kevin Doyle said, there's 6 points on offer now in June. We have to just go and get them.
Yeah.
And
now, of course,
if we could do that, then this performance, the win in Greece, hopefully, the win against Gibraltar will set us up nicely for the qualifiers in September.
Now, Holland did beat Gibraltar this night. I think they beat him, was it 3-0, I think, for the finish or something like that?
And 3-0. And to be honest with you, Paul, a lot of people were not. They're not firing very well. Holland, the Dutch, they got hammered against France. They put up no. I think I saw what the French reaction after the game last night. They got more of a test against Ireland than they got against the Dutch. They were expecting it the other way around.
Sorry, can you just get the result here? So the France played Holland. Is it last week? So what was the result of that game?
They beat Holland 4-0 on Friday. So that was the big fear I had coming into this game. The Dutch beat Gibraltar 3-0 last night. So they have 3 points. Greece have 3 points. Greece have played Gibraltar already as well. So the Dutch have played 2 games. We played 1, and obviously the French have played 2 games and won 2 games. So it's a real battle. I'm more hopeful now, Paul, than I was after last night than I was before tonight.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
The Dutch give me a bit of hope now because they don't seem to be in good order either. But unfortunately, we don't play them until September, so they might have got themselves together.
Yeah. Now the next game is the next round of matches. You're talking in June. That means when the domestic, or not domestic, but the cross channel, the club season is over. We'll say. So what's the key point now for these players? Not alone the starting 11, not alone the match day squad, but the extended squad. They're going back to their clubs now. Is it important? Maybe I know some clubs will be going well, others will be maybe struggling. So it's important that they get plenty game time with their clubs if they can.
Big time, Paul. We need all our players to be playing with their clubs now. Hopefully, Seamus Coleman. I know there's a right wing back, Patterson. He plays for Everton. He might be coming back from injury. I'm hoping that Coleman was to keep his place. I think he should, based on last night's performance. Hopefully Collins will get back into the world teams. I think he's played the last league game, but he hasn't been playing recently over the last couple of weeks. John Egan, I think, is going for promotion with Sheffield tonight. So hopefully he'll stay in good form as well. Bazzuno, it's tough for him. He's played with Southampton. He's still number 1 for Southampton, but he could be relegated by the time. Hopefully for an Irish point of view, he's not. But it might be a bit of a relief to get out of the club game on into the national scene as well. So. Kenny mentioned himself, the preparation is going to be key. I think they're going to do a bit of warm weather training out in Turkey. I think a week or two before.
Sorry, no, a couple of questions there. No, we know the World Cup was on in December, so the English League season and the club season will be extended a few weeks longer, I presume. So, is there much of a gap, between the end of the club season and this game in June, or a couple of weeks?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the date, but the club season. If we talk about the whole lot of the club season, as far as I know, the Champions League finals on June the 10th.
Right.
And then I think 9 days later, then the qualifiers start up, or maybe a little bit further on. I'm not sure about but they're all in June. So the players are going to be playing a lot of football now. Obviously, with Irish players, there's no players in Europe, but
the players in the playoffs, I presume.
Playoffs, Championship, League. Even Jason Knight, he might be involved with Derby. Could be going for promotion. So the preparation is going to be key. They're going to have to acclimatise to the weather out there in Greece. It's going to be very, very warm. I think, as I said, I think they're going to Turkey. I think Kenny mentioned they're going to do a bit of warm weather training, maybe a week or two before the game. So preparation is going to be key. But we cannot lose that game. I think if we're going to have any hope of getting second, I think the French will qualify, win away with the group. We have to win that game, and